Today we're going to be looking at a 500 AJS for an oil change. This is a relatively easy task, but I know a few people will be afraid of doing such an extensive job as changing the oil on their motorcycle. This one is fitted externally, this oil tank, to the engine. This is a Clubman's AJS, would be used for racing. It's got a racing carburetor on there with the float bowl, which is just over to one side, which is quite unusual for many motorcycles, but not for this one. Also, we need to look into the fact that the fuel filter made a mistake there. That's the petrol there. I must inform you that you must never make a mistake there. Just see how many people were listening to that. But it's the fuel filter we're going to have to change. There's a Baker-like one here that we're going to put in there. You can see the difference in it. They're virtually identical, but this one's dirty because using perhaps a fuel that's a little bit too strong for it, which would have been 4-star. I normally pop into Ida's in Colby, Ida Tiers, and fill it up with 2-star. It's a useful fuel for this machine. Anyway, moving swiftly on, undo the oil filler cap. Most important to let it breathe as you drain it down. I use a 5/16 ring spanner. It's Whitworth or AF. AF stands for anything fits. So I don't really recommend the use of plastic, as it sometimes decays with some form of oil, but obviously not this one. It's been used before. And also various drip trays can be used underneath the oil. This one was originally for Felice's ice cream, but we'll keep that to one side. We hope it doesn't get into that kind of depth anyway. But there's some oil in there, but it's probably very dirty now, so just zip on there with a 5/16 ring spanner is most important, so you don't strain the surfaces of the nut. You've got a fibre washer on there, and I'm just going to let the oil go into the container. Unscrewing it now. Quite a long thread on this nut, and there we go. There's the oil dropping into the container quite merrily. While that's all happening, we'll look into other things that we need to take precautions with. Newspaper is a good idea to put that down on the floor. Here's an old green vinyl which we've found, which will protect the floor if we drop any oil. Always use a good quality oil. This is a racing motor oil because it's a racing bike, and obviously a good sturdy fuel container, a good metal one there. If you're unsure about what you're doing, you can always have a look at an instruction manual, and it will cover almost everything in there. There's nice little illustrations, and every page tells a different story. Always handy to have other things like a repair outfit for the tyres. If you get a blowout up at Brandywell, you don't want to be stuck up there in the rain with a blowout, do you? Spare spark plug, KLG even, and there's good quality spark plug. So we're going to have to let this one go now. That's nearly full, and deploy the Felice's ice cream container. Pop that under there, and that's virtually it. While we're in the business of things being safety, we've got a safety crash helmet there. In a later episode, we'll go into clothing, show you how important it is to have the correct clothing on the motorcycle. Good sturdy gloves, which will protect you from the weather, and a good hard helmet. If you bump your head on the road, bounce up and down a couple of times, you can be sure that Everoak helmet will keep you safe and sound. Absolutely no problem with that at all. That's probably going to cover about everything. Obviously I've got to try and wait for a bit more of this oil to come out, but we use these oil filling containers. This one's half a pint, the one over there is a pint, and we will pour that in there to the desired level later on. I hope this has been of some use to you. Thank you very much for taking time to listen to this.